My name is Jason.
And my name is David.
And this is a comic strip AP of Dungeon World featuring the adventures of Domenico Castafiel. Listeners, this is a character whose story we have told before on our other podcast, Discern Realities, on episodes 12 through 28. This is an entirely new adventure, so it's not completely necessary to have listened to those APs before this, but it can't hurt, and I think you might find the experience a little bit more enjoyable if you have that context. So let's talk a little bit about Domenico before we get going, David. Give me just the basics of Domenico Castafiel.
Yeah, so Domenico is a wizard. He has a thin body with sharp eyes, stylized hair, and stylish robes.
And yeah, as I recall, Domenico is a bit of a wit, a bit of a ladies' man. Is that fair to say?
That's probably fair to say. He's definitely been shown to move in the opulent circles of his hometown of Kedalata. He's a bit of a mover and a shaker. He's not a combat wizard by any means. He's more of an influencer and a power player. Awesome.
Well, we will get to know just a little bit more about him momentarily, but just one more quick logistical matter, just so listeners kind of know where we're going with this. Which spells do you have prepared right now?
Right, so right now we've got the Mimic spell, the Invisibility spell, and the Charm Person spell all prepared, as well as the cantrips.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think we're going to open. It is nighttime in the city. This city is filled with waterways instead of what has regular roads too, but it has lots and lots of waterways that crisscross the city, and many people get around via gondola, right? And in fact, I think the last time we saw Domenico, he was escaping into a gondola. But some time has passed since then, and we see Domenico in the gondola. There's a gondola, rower with you as well, kind of gently moving you through the water. It is a fairly quiet time of night, fairly late, I would say. The only people around are, drunks, maybe a couple of whores, that kind of thing. Very, very quiet, though. The moonlight glimmering off the waterway, and maybe just like the hoot of an owl passing overhead. You're holding in your hand a piece of parchment, an invitation, from a woman named Lady Franchesa Voltier. And I have a question about you and Lady Franchesa, but let me tell you just a little bit about her first. Lady Franchesa is an older woman. This city is the kind of city that favors youth and beauty, right? Like so many societies, right? But Lady Franchesa, she definitely has managed to maintain her allure over people who only value such low things as beauty and youth, right? She has a certain sexual magnetism of her own. She's known to take many lovers, both men and women, and she's well known in the city. You have a history with her as well. Do you have any thoughts on what that might be?
Yeah, I think that I help her in maintaining her beauty. It's not entirely natural, the way that she maintains her beauty.
Oh, I see. So she's actually much older than she even appears.
Yeah, we Castafiels know a thing or two about perpetually maintaining certain looks.
Right, yeah. Okay, good. So is it fair to say that maybe, physically, visually, she reads as maybe a woman in her late 40s, early 50s, but still very, very powerfully attractive to most people? She just has a certain allure, right? Just people are just drawn to her. Is she much older than that, though? I mean, it sounds like she's much older than that.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would go so far to say that no one in living memory knows of a time when she wasn't around.
Ah, okay. So she's always kind of existed in this state, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's good. Have you ever been one of her many lovers?
I think she's offered, but I've always danced around it or been too busy, but I haven't directly opposed or said no. It's just the circumstances were never quite right.
Ah, I see. So you're being rowed through this waterway. There is something of an old wives' tale or a sort of local myth or legend or story about something you see whenever you're on a gondola, if you see this thing, whatever it is, at night, it means that you are being rowed to doom or darkness or danger or otherwise bad portent. You see that thing, what is it?
The fish under the water. At night, you shouldn't be able to see them, and they're usually asleep. And they always swim with the current. So if you see a fish at night swimming against the current, it's supposed to be doom.
Ah, good. You see a fish that's come very close to the surface and is in fact swimming in the wrong direction. How does that make you feel?
It's, at first it's like, well, who cares about these trite little wives' tales? They're just so cute and adorable. But maybe it gets a little bit more pronounced when I start to see lots of fish.
Okay, good. Right. Just to hammer the message home, right? in case the fates weren't clear enough with you just then.
Yeah, I think the gondola rider sees it too.
Oh, definitely. He turns back and he kind of shrugs his shoulders, like it's no big deal. And he laughs, but it's like a nervous laugh, right? Like he's got the same feeling as you, like, oh, haha, but truly deep down inside, he's thinking, one of us, either you or me, are in for some bad shit tonight.
Yeah.
So the gondola pulls up to little tiny piers and posts that stick out from the main walkways, right? So that you can kind of stop and tie up, quickly so that people can get on and off. And the gondola delivers you to the street that Lady Franchesa lives on. Her house, it's like a brownstone, right? It's kind of narrow, but it's many floors, right? Maybe 3 or 4 floors high, but quite narrow. And there are lots of houses like it, kind of slotted next to each other, up and down the street. Lady Franchesa is known to dabble in divination, looking into the future, looking into things that people aren't supposed to see. And she holds parties all the time where she does seances and tarot card readings and that kind of thing. But the thing is, there's a line between the things that she does just for show, just to kind of entertain her friends, which is kind of like a low sort of, she's just pretending, right? It's more theatrical sort of divination than any true power, right? But she also has she has some true power too in this regard. I'd like to explore that a little bit as we go into the house. So you step up through the house, or step up to the main door. Her servant lets you in. You step inside. As you're kind of wandering through her halls, waiting to be greeted by her, you see some evidence of 2 things. The sort of fake, theatrical, dramatic soothsaying and divination that she's known to do. And you also see something else that is evidence that she also has real power. What do you think those might be?
You can tell the real from the fake because all of the sham, all the charlatanism is just tricks of cards and raising your voice and inflecting your tone in certain ways.
Shaking the table because there are spirits, that kind of thing.
All of that, yeah. Parlor tricks. All of the real magic that she knows how to get up to demands real sacrifice. So when she has a guest prick a finger, or when she kills a small animal or something like that, that's not just for show anymore.
Well, so what do you see as you walk through the halls that remind you of that?
There's a couple of guests that are talking back and forth, and one of them has they're holding their finger up that would that had been pricked, and they're it was so magical. The moment after that happened, I could feel it really happening.
Okay, good. At a certain point, her servant, her major domo, a very, very waxy-faced, unpleasant-looking man, shave pate, he comes to find you, and he says, Lady Franchesa would like to see you in her private salon, Lord Castafiel.
Ah, excellent. Then we shall away immediately.
And he leads you down an opulent hall filled with beautiful black vases and gold statuary to a pair of very lovely, deep, rich, dark lacquer doors, carved with images of pastoral scene, flowers, river, people taking lunch. And he opens the doors into her private salon. And the first thing you see upon the doors opening, the first thing you see before you see anything else, you see Lady Franchesa Voltier. She is standing in the middle of the room, wearing almost nothing, just a little slip of sort of sheer black fabric fashioned like sort of a cape or a robe, and a cascade of glittering black jewelry that strategically falls on her body to keep her just barely rated R. And she sees you and she says, Domenico Castafiel, I'm so happy to see you right now. And that's where we'll end it. Hi, this is Jason from the Gauntlet Gaming Community. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, please consider supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. Our page can be found at patreon.com/gauntlet.